So if you've got a beautiful TV and you don't have good sound to match, you're missing out on 50% of that home cinema experience, and that is a fact. And I'm guessing something that might be holding you back from investing in a good surround system is the messiness of it all, running the cables up and down the walls, under the floorboards, and having power outlets in the right place. And JBL did send this over for a review, and I'm not just gonna reel off the spec sheet because there's a bunch of videos out here on YouTube that already do that. And if you wanna check out the spec sheet, there'll be a link to my website where you can see all of those details. Instead, the intention of this video is to help you guys make the right purchase decision and open your eyes up to a new possibility when it comes to soundbars. So this is the JBL Bar 1000 Dolby Atmos soundbar. It will take your home theater audio game to the next level without all of the hassle of the traditional sound system setups. So let me show you what I mean. The JBL Bar 1000 looks like a traditional soundbar, but JBL have equipped this with a couple of secret weapons on the official JBL website. This is listed as a 7.1.4 surround sound system, and that consists of 7 forward-facing drivers, 1 large wireless sub with a 10-inch woofer, and 4 upward-firing drivers, which create that atmospheric sound that you have likely heard before in a proper movie theater. And as you can see, the styling of the Bar 1000 is very much JBL style, with the majority of the body being this kind of matte black finish, and there's a black metal mesh to protect all of those drivers. The configuration of the drivers consists of 5 46 by 90 millimeter racetrack drivers, and they call them racetrack drivers because they're not the typical circular driver. They're actually more oblong like this, and this gives them a wider surface area, and this can result in better mids and low-end frequencies. There are 3 20 millimeter tweeters located in the central section of the Bar 1000, and these are for your higher frequency sounds and vocal range. And then we have these, the secret weapons that are truly the game changer, not just for movies, but also for music and gaming, and I'll explain why in a moment. They are magnetically attached, truly wireless, and battery operated detachable rear speakers. Each one of these houses a 20 millimeter tweeter and 70 millimeter full range upwards driver. And the beauty of these speakers are you can detach these and place these behind you whenever you want that home theater sound. And then when you want to watch just regular TV and you don't need the surround sound, you can just connect them back onto the base and they will recharge. And as far as soundbars go, there really aren't many that can do this. Something that I really appreciate about this particular soundbar is the ease of use. The manual controls consist of a volume up and down and input selector, and it really doesn't get much easier to use than that. The remote, of course, offers more controls, most notably the sound calibration button. So when you do place the speakers behind you, you can push this and it will calibrate the sound for the room. It's got the Bluetooth mode and the ability to adjust the bass levels and the Dolby Atmos height level. So if you happen to live in a mansion and you have very high ceilings, you're gonna want to max out the Dolby Atmos height. And the second thing you're gonna wanna do is lend us some money, will you? There's also the JBL One app available on iOS and Android, and this gives you even more control, so you can mess around with the EQs here, and it works over Wi-Fi, so range and line of sight will never be a problem. And it's definitely ideal for those times when you lose the remote down the side of the sofa and you cannot be bothered to find it. And also, it's a good backup if your dog happens to use the remote as a chew toy. Now, you might not know this about the JBL Bar 1000, but it is in fact a smart speaker. It does have beamforming mics in the main unit, and it does support Google Assistant and Chromecast, as well as Siri and AirPlay, and it also supports Alexa, and you can even connect this to your other Alexa multi-room speakers via your home network. The ports on the back consist of 4 HDMIs, one of them being an eARC, which is necessary for true uncompressed Dolby Atmos sound, and the other 3 HDMIs are pass-through ports, and they all support 4K at 120 Hz, making them ideal for games consoles, streaming devices such as the Amazon Fire Cube or Nvidia Shield, or Blu-ray players. And there is a USB-A port here for doing manual software updates, and that same port can also read MP3 audio from a USB drive. And if you don't want to connect wirelessly, there is an Ethernet port so you can hardwire your internet into the Bar 1000. And there's also an optical input for older TVs or other audio devices that have an optical out. So if you are thinking about getting a Dolby Atmos soundbar like this one from JBL, one of the things you should probably do straight away is check the back of your TV and see if you have an enhanced audio return channel, an eARC port. Because if you do, this means you'll get the maximum Dolby Atmos quality from your TV to the soundbar. But if you don't have that, don't worry. If your TV has Dolby Digital Plus, you can still get Dolby Atmos sound. It will just be a more compressed version of it. But one thing is for certain, you will get DTS-X home theater sound to this soundbar, even if you have a TV without an eARC, and it will still sound pretty amazing. And I will give you my personal opinion, what I think of the sound quality in a moment. Now, I just want to explain the significance of Dolby Atmos support here. Some of you guys will be very familiar with it, and some of you might have never heard it in a home setting before. But the reason now is so important is so many of the streaming services and newer films are actually encoded with Dolby Atmos sound. And when I said that this soundbar will take your home audio to the next level, I was being literal, because it does actually take the audio output up to new heights with those upward firing drivers. It's fantastic for movies where there's planes or helicopters or even birds flying overhead. You'll hear that verticality in the sound. And when you watch sporting events, you'll feel that atmosphere as if you were in the stadium with the crowd. And when it comes to gaming, it will actually give you an edge, an advantage, because you'll actually be able to hear properly when people are creeping up behind you or above you, and you can respond accordingly. Whereas someone just wearing a stereo headset will not have a good sense of whether it's in front, behind, above, or below. And nowadays, when you go onto streaming services, you'll probably notice spatial audio support or 360 reality audio, and more music artists are recording their audio in this format. And with a soundbar like this, you can actually hear that music as if the artist was actually there in the room with you. So you can probably tell I'm all in on 360 reality audio, spatial sound stuff. And if you haven't heard it yet, you need to hear it. And I do believe products like this are a good sound investment. So I want to give you guys my first impressions of the sound quality. I literally just set this up in about 5 minutes. It was ready to go. And I must say, my first impressions of this sound setup, coming from a Sonos Arc with surrounds and separate sub, is this really, really impressive. Way better than I thought it was going to be. The JBL Bar 1000 cost around £1,000 here in the UK. My Sonos setup is about £2,500 here in the UK. And I have to say, the sound quality coming from this is very close to what I'm used to. And something I think some of you guys are going to really appreciate about this soundbar is once you do take the rears off, the actual soundbar central element itself actually isn't that wide. I believe it's just over a meter, so it's about 1 meter 20 centimeters, and it will look perfect in front of any TV, 42 inch, 55 inch or above. It's sitting in front of a 65 inch right here, so you get an idea of how it will look when the wireless elements are detached. But don't be fooled by size. This thing has got some serious power, and that subwoofer is an absolute beast. So sound quality for movies is spot on, and it's actually better than I was expecting. So there really is a lot to like about the JBL Bar 1000. It's important to know that JBL are part of the Harman group and actually is owned by Samsung. So if you happen to have a Samsung TV, this is going to be a great match for that. Not to say that it's not going to be good with pretty much any TV out there. More importantly is the fact that it's been tuned by Harman, who have so much experience in the audio game. But what I really love about this and appreciate about this particular soundbar is the form factor. Its ability to adapt to whatever it is you're watching. The connectivity is also fantastic and not too overcomplicated, but most of all is definitely the sound quality. And something that I didn't really speak much about when I was showing you guys the product is how bassy this can get. The subwoofer on this is insane. So you're really gonna feel that boom in your living room when you're watching your movies or listening to bass heavy tracks. And something that I greatly appreciate, and I'm sure you will too if you do buy the JBL Bar 1000, is the fact that JBL throw in the wall mounting brackets, not just for the bar, but also discrete small little wall mount brackets for the rear speakers as well. And the caps for the rear speakers and the main bar are provided in the box so that the charging points aren't constantly exposed when you set this up in a surround sound configuration. And this just gives them a really nice, clean and more seamless look. And whilst the rears can charge by connecting them to the main center soundbar, they can also be charged via USB-C. So that's pretty handy. I'm sure you've got one of those lying around somewhere. And if you're wondering about battery life on the rears, the volume can affect the results, of course, but JBL say that they can go for up to 10 hours on a full charge. And that is around 25 to 30 episodes of One Piece. So if you've been looking for a simple soundbar that avoids all of the mess and all of the annoying cables, but offers all of the smart home features and sound quality that you've been looking for, then this, the JBL Bar 1000, could be the soundbar for you. And if you guys want to support the channel, there'll be an affiliate link below this video. And if you do click that and check out this product, you will be helping me out and I would greatly appreciate it. And if you guys got any value out of this video, a little thumbs up would make my day. And if you just subscribed, I will see you guys in the next one. Don't be late.